So, let's kick things off with a big, unsettling question, the kind that grabs you by the throat. What if the people we love most can also be the greatest threats to our sense of self? Savage Blooms dives right into that clash, the idea that love can both nurture and destroy us. It's not just about romance, it's about identity.
That's what hooked me, honestly. The book isn't shy about showing how beauty and brutality can live side by side in relationships. Gibson makes you feel the pull between craving connection and realizing how much of yourself you're willing to give up sometimes without even noticing.
And that tension feels so real, right? There's this sense that devotion can be a double-edged sword. You want to belong, but sometimes you wake up and wonder if you've lost yourself along the way. Savage Blooms pretty much throws that struggle under a microscope.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the main characters falling in love or out of it. It's more about how their longing and loyalty push them to their limits and sometimes way past them. The whole story asks, why do we sometimes hold on to relationships, even when they hurt us?
What really gets under my skin is how the book shows intimacy as both a comfort and a weapon. Have you ever noticed how, in some relationships, being close can turn into a kind of control, almost without anyone realizing it?
Oh, for sure. It's like when someone gradually shapes their entire world around another person at first. It looks like deep love, but then it slips into this grey area where boundaries vanish. You end up asking, am I even making my own choices anymore, or just orbiting someone else?
That actually reminds me of those real-life stories where people lose themselves in a cause or a mentor. It's easy to believe you're growing, but sometimes you're just becoming a mirror for someone else's desires.
Exactly. And Gibson nails that complexity. The characters aren't just puppets, they're active, they want things. But their hunger for connection makes them vulnerable to manipulation. It's messy, it's painful, and it feels incredibly true to how power shows up in real life.
So, after all that spiraling tension, the book doesn't just leave you in the dark. There's this thread of rebirth, like, even after a bond shatters, there's space to rebuild. But it's not a clean slate, is it?
Not even close. When you walk away from a relationship that defined you, it can feel like stepping off a cliff suddenly. You don't know who you are. But that emptiness can be freeing, too. It's a chance to rebuild on your own terms, shaky as it might be.
I've seen that play out in real life. Someone leaves a high-control group or ends a consuming relationship. And at first, it's just raw emptiness. But over time, you start picking up pieces, trying on new values, new ideas, until something authentic emerges.
That's the hope, I think. Gibson isn't saying it's easy, or even always possible. But the book argues that facing the darkness inside and out is the only way forward. Sometimes, the scariest part is realizing you have to become someone new.
What do you make of the way the book treats darkness? I found it fascinating that it's not just evil, it's almost seductive. Like pain can give life a kind of meaning if you're feeling lost.
What surprised me most is how the characters sometimes chase danger, not because they're reckless, but because it feels like the only way to break out of their old patterns. I get that sometimes the rules feel stifling, and stepping into the unknown is the only thing that feels real.
Funny you say that, because I've met people who join risky groups or throw themselves into intense communities for that exact reason. It's about belonging, even if it comes with a cost.
Right. And Savage Blooms doesn't judge that urge. It just lays it bare. Sometimes darkness teaches us who we are, even as it threatens to consume us. But you've got to decide when to walk away, or risk losing yourself completely.
So, if we had to boil it all down, what's the big lesson Savage Blooms wants us to walk away with? For me, it's about learning where devotion enhances your life and where it starts to erase you.
I'd say it's also about recognizing that power doesn't always show up as force. Sometimes it's hidden in charm or loyalty. The book really encourages you to check in with yourself. Am I growing into who I want to be, or am I just clinging to someone else's vision?
And there's that reminder that letting go, though terrifying, can be the first step toward real growth. Pain can teach us, but it shouldn't become our whole story.
Exactly. And maybe the bravest thing is to choose yourself, even when it means stepping into the unknown. Savage Blooms doesn't promise that the journey will be easy, but it does suggest that reclaiming your identity is always worth the risk.